We're shifting to 5D, a world anew.
Welcome to the Quantum Shift Show.
Creating realities, dreams come true. Light workers unite, our time has come to manifest the future under a brighter sun.
Your host of the Quantum Shift Show,
Welcome to 5D,
Dr. Sam Mugzzi and Digital Tom.
where miracles thrive. In this new dimension, we're truly alive.
Hello and welcome. We got a new show lined up for you guys today. It's titled The Star Series. In this show, we're going to be talking about Lost Truths Revealed. And I can't wait to dive in. So, Mugzzi, how are you doing? Glad to have you back.
Hi, thank you. I've had to take some time for myself to think about what's going on and doing a ton of research because the world as we knew it didn't make sense. And for 20 years, I've been searching these answers and it just wouldn't come to me. It wasn't there. There was signs, there was clues that Trump was giving or George would be giving me or somebody else on social media. But I didn't have the whole picture until I have it today. And so that's why I want to share with our fellow star seeds and light workers so that we can finally move forward in our new reality, knowing the truth, knowing what happened, why it happened, and why it's so important for us to heal our bodies and move forward into our new paradigm, which is the Tartarian paradigm. So, do you have any questions before I get started?
No, I'm excited. This kind of fills in a lot of the gaps that we've all been wondering about. So, let's just dive right in, Muggsy.
Okay, so like many of us, we've been seeing Tartaria, we've been seeing the old maps, and we've been seeing the mud floods and things like that that have showed us that this was literally two worlds that had collided. And what happened, according to George, is that, and for you guys that don't know, George is he's my buddy, he's my friend. He is a galactic and he works with Commander Valiant Thor. He's his first in command officer, and he so nicely and diplomatically took us on as a project to help teach us because so many of us wanted to learn what was going on. So George is an elephant ET and he has his own craft. He has several craft and he has a crew that works underneath him, and they work morning, noon, and night to help facilitate this marvelous. I don't know what to say. It's magical. It's incredible what they've been able to pull off and how they've been able to rescue our Atlantean or Tartarian timeline. So, according to him, what happened is that our Tartaria was invaded by the Dracos. And the Dracos are also undersea aquatic. That's where your mermaids come in, but they don't look anything like Ariel or what they project them to be. They're actually a lot scarier, and they have tails and they have big fang teeth, and they're quite ugly. But they invaded us from the waters on Tartaria and they took us over. They actually took away our star energy crystal that was keeping our dome protected from lower vibrational beings or being attacked by pirates. So what they did is they invaded us from underneath through the waters. And when they came in, what they did is they searched out to find our energy source, which was this crystal. They were able to take over the crystal, and they dropped our timeline into Earth's timeline. So that's why you see the remnants of the two worlds, is because they literally crashed us into a lower dimensional 3D environment where they enslaved the Atlanteans within the stupidity of Earthlings. The ones, I mean, they have a different whole program, and they made sure that when we reincarnated with this cyclic process where our parents were not too savvy. They didn't raise us like advanced beings. They had raised us like there was something wrong with us, and we were constantly suppressed, beaten down, told we couldn't do things. Our finances were taken away, and we were put into this role model of deprivation, basically, where people couldn't survive, people couldn't get out, that were the star seeds from Atlantis. So what happened was is that we have the the Galactics rescued us. They were able to bring us out. And so when you see Princess Di, or you see John F. Kennedy Jr., you see John F. Kennedy back in the 60s, there's been hints all the way where they do this downward arrow. And what that downward arrow represents is the igniting our star. We're a portal for higher dimensions. So they're literally signaling that they're taking the Atlanteans home. And you have to understand that the Atlanteans were actually biological stars. We are the creation of Archangel Michael. We were created to be a biologic hue or frequency stars having a physical experience. And that is the biggest secret. So once you understand you are a star, now you understand why they say you're a spark of creation. You are a spark from God, because you literally are. God is light. He's all that's all knowing. And you are a spark from that. You are a star creation, created with a plasma biological body. So I'll get more into that in a minute, but let's back up. So when our timelines crashed, what happened is that our king and queen was Cleopatra and Caesar. That was of Egypt, which was the United States, which was the home of the Atlanteans. When the Nephilim took over, what they did was that the fallen angels, which are also vampires, they created the Nephilim by mixing their blood with the blood of Cleopatra, and they created a Nephilim. The Nephilim, well, it wasn't just Cleopatra. Once they killed Caesar, they brought in Mark Antony from Rome, and he was the one that then started creating this snake bloodline. And you know that the headdresses in Egypt switched from being normal headdresses just adorned with crystals, which enhanced our frequency, to now they have these snake beans. And the snake beans, of course, is the snake bloodline, which is from Mark Antony. As a Nephilim, they are reptilian shape shifters. So they could be, as a shape shifter, they're either reptilians with a shorter a shorter tail, or they have a longer tail, which could be almost dragon-like, or they're literally snakes, or they're aquatic and they're in the ocean and they have a flipper that's also a tail that helps them swim in the ocean. But they are the seeds from Lucifer or Satan. Lucifer is a title of the most evil. It's also known as Ra, and they're also pulling up now. Gilgamesh was actually Horus, which was part of the demigods from Lucifer or Satan, which is from this bloodline. So once when they so Caesar and Cleopatra had a son, and he was known as Caesarion. That's why we have Caesarian births. Okay, I'll tell you why in a minute. But Caesarion was then under threat of being murdered. So Cleopatra took her two most close, dearest servants, which was Mary and Joseph, and they took Caesarion to India to raise him so that he would be safe and away from the stuff going on in Egypt. So when they took him, that's why he had to be in a manger. That's why he was out in the barn. They were hiding him, and they had to keep him cloaked. He always wore like a hood, or he always had not um nondescript clothing. He didn't show himself off. He wasn't a big peacock. He was always hiding in the shadows because of the fact that this snake bloodline was always looking for him, because the king of this planetary system was actually owned and controlled by Cleopatra and Caesar. And you see that by the leaf crown that he wore, symbolizing the emperor that he owned. He was given the rights to control and operate this planetary system. So Yeshua, so he changed his name to Yeshua, and Yeshua then proceeded to learn his different teachings in India. And in India, they learn how to heal with Ayurvedic medicine. So that's why Yeshua or Caesarion would go around and heal people, because he was given the teachings from I want to say sages or mentors from India that taught him how to heal. So as a king of the world, basically, he had to hide so that the Incan Enlil, and especially Enlil, was after him to steal his crown. So they usurped his crown. Caesar used a staff to be or symbolize that he was the controller of this empire. And when they stole his staff, they then put the wings for the fallen angels on it. They put the ball, which is that they block the stargate for our ascension. And then they put the two snakes, which represents Enlil and Inky. And this is what is the logo of Western medicine. That's who controls Western medicine. And their purpose is not to heal or cure you. Their purpose is to stop the star, which is you, from igniting into your plasma being or your power. So Christ or Yeshua went around to many different areas like Japan and learned from the people from Mu. He went to Paris. He went to where the coffee houses were or the tea houses. And he learned philosophy. He learned how to think more broader, better perspectives, better boundaries, better, they call it the stoic way of being, where you're focused on the development of the inner you. You're not focused so much on other people, other than if they need help you can kind of pick them up here and there, but the primary focus of the star is really focusing on yourself. So he, Yeshua, went around the world and he traveled many places. And there is a lot of information hidden within the books of Joseph. So you might want to find that. And what's funny is that Mary Magdalene, who then turned out to be his wife, that was also Guinevere, we're finding out now that Mary Magdalene was the wealthy side of the family and would contribute so that Yeshua could continue. But when Yeshua was in the manger, the three wise kings showed up. Nobody really questioned that. Well, it came from Cleopatra. Cleopatra had sent the three wise men, or her three attendees, to come and give Mary and Joseph the money, the wealth, whatever they needed from Cleopatra so that they could live and maintain a higher level lifestyle so that they didn't starve to death, basically. So Cleopatra did keep an eye on where Yeshua went, and the travels is documented in the books of Joseph. So you want to look at that. But later you see that Mary Magdalene is talking about ascension and how to ascend. And of course, those books weren't allowed into the Bible. There's supposed to be 711 works from Joshua and Mary Magdalene that were not created or put into the Bible. And it was actually information that was suppressed so that the Atlanteans could not go back home. They could not raise their timeline. Their timeline was captured by the Dracos, or the fallen angels. They kept us down. Now, why this animosity? The animosity comes back from the fact that when Archangel Michael created his creation, which is the human, which is a star, biological plant-based being having a physical experience, that was Archangel Michael's experiment. That's what his creation was. And he gave us life by giving us his stem cells, or his spark, to allow us to enter into these physical beings. We brought our essence into the physical with our soul, which is a soul of a star. So that's what you are. And the whole purpose of Western medicine is to poison you with chemicals. And if you look at a lot of the surgeries that they're doing, it's always around the midsection. And that's because that's where your stargate is, that connects you to all other dimensions as a star. It's also where, when you look at the biological body, the vessel that was created, which is actually a temple, it's set up in a way where your spinal fluid rejuvenates the plasma, the liquid plasma for the star. So it starts out in the brain at your pituitary gland, which they've been working very hard to calcify with fluoride and other chemicals. Also, Western medicine breaks the blood-brain barrier to damage this area. Again, you're being targeted, that the blood is, or the spinal fluid needs to move down on the left side of the body through the spinal column. That's why they injure your spine and they want you to do disc surgery or something like that. They're moving you down, the spinal fluid goes down through the chakras like a water wheel, and it moves that energy throughout the body. When it gets down to the stargate, which is the root chakra, that's where it's infused with your soul essence. That's where your power comes from. And now that silver turns to gold, moves back up through your water wheels or your chakra system, moving that gold fluid back up your spinal fluid until it gets back to your crown, where then it is blessed and it is seated. Your soul, your new soul spark, is seated in your manger. This is very important because that's where your power is. This is what ignites the infusion of your power source, your star source, which is also part of your Merkaba that is above your head. So the whole Merkaba essence is you. You are a Merkaba. You are a star. You are a diamond. This is why if they burn you, you turn to a diamond. The carbon base turns to a diamond. So when you move this spinal fluid up, your heart is the pump for this fluid to move throughout the body, and your internal organs is what is purifying the body so that you can raise your frequency to that 980 hertz that it needs to be to infuse this heavenly essence of this creation of your star. So if you look at what what medications you get from big pharma, if you start doing research, you'll see that they break the blood-brain barrier. And the reason why they do that is because they're trying to damage your seeding of your pearl, if you will. Once it goes through the chakra system, your pearl is set into the manger, and you have this illumination that comes out from your body. It's a vibration, it's in your fingerprints, it's in your feet. You have this vibration iridescence that begins to happen, and that is known as your aura. So when Western medicine does surgery, they're literally cutting your aura. They're cutting your diamond spark, if you will, and they're damaging the core of your stargate that allows you to be a diamond or to be a star. So anytime, if you're going to Western medicine, just know that your star is going to be damaged. You're going to have problems. And if it gets too bad, the soul essence of your star will leave this physical hue and you'll have to start over. Now, a lot of the people, it's probably about 80% of the population is really the Earthlings that belong in 3D. And they've been tagged with what they call the beast chip, just means they're not developed. And they will circle back to 3D and they will continue for, they say, 75 million years. However, there are exit points where they can get out if they have matured spiritually. If they haven't, then they need to stay and keep going through the schools of life. And if you look at if you study Bangkok and their temples, it tells this story. You'll see it. You will see where there is an elephant with the three chambers, and the three chambers represents the lower level being earth, and then you have the midsection, which is what I'm calling Tartaria, and then above that you have the heavenly realms, which is 12th dimension or beyond. So people that had a lot of money would leave clues for themselves as they reincarnated so that when they saw stuff, they could get like a jump on their evolution. And this is what happened with a lot like Michelangelo or Da Vinci. They knew a lot of these secrets about being a star. So if you look at the Pavlovian man, you look at the artwork, that was actually the Stargate. And I have the Stargates on the side of how all of your maturity going through these lessons actually open up stargates for you. And your power source then is at your root chakra. So you don't want to damage that. You want to keep it pristine so that you can move back into the fifth dimension, back to Atlantis, where the stars are supposed to reside. Us, we're stars, we're miracles, we're amazing. So, Tom, you got any questions?
Yes, I do. Actually, when you talk about Archangel Michael created us, would you say that he created us from the source, the energy from source, which what we call as God, or is he actually God, basically?
That I don't know.
Okay. Well, I
No,
mean,
he's not God, because God is everything and everywhere. God is found in the ethers. So there's actually five elements that they don't speak about: water, wind, earth, and fire. And the fifth is the ether. And the ether is an energetic ocean that's above our head that is filled with knowledge of all that is. And the higher you raise your frequency, the higher you'll be able to pull down information from the ethers. If you maintain yourself at a low level vibration, then you're only going to be able to pull down a little bit of information from the ethers. So, as above, so below, that's where that saying comes in. If you want to access more of the ether knowledge of the God source, God's everything, everywhere, every life is God. Okay. Life is about the darkness, but also the light. This is where the phoenix comes in. Even a phoenix bird, miraculous as it is, has a regeneration period where it blooms from the ashes. Another interesting thing too is that a diamond actually becomes a diamond when it starts out as carbon through pressure and hard times, is when a diamond is formed. And the same thing is true for our stars, that without the challenges that we've just all experienced, we would not develop into these magnanimous beings that we've become. You look back at who we were starting in 2012 to where we are today, and I can bet you that your life has evolved and changed. What is pretty cool and also kind of heart-wrenching, but a lot of our old friends and family was taken away, and that was by design, so that those that were not staying up with our progress of learning and growing, they were being removed so that we would have our cup empty, so that we could find new friends, we could find energetic families that mirrored our own vibration, our own passion for growing and learning. There's a lot of us. There's, say, 144,000. Those are the ones that are awake. Those are the star seeds. Those are the ones that are the spiritual light workers, because we are the ones that are going home. We're taking our timeline back to where it needs to be after it was hijacked by the pirates. That's why we had to incarnate in the 3D life. So now that we're taking it home, it's our vibration, it's our thoughts, our imagination, our creations within our own minds that is creating the passageway for the new world. that we're creating, which is our new Tartaria. It is the infusion of the stars with the archangels. If you go back and you look at, especially Persia, Persia has a lot of underground dwellings that are just a marvel. I don't know how else to explain it. They have tile work and ceiling work and sculptures that are magical looking. They're beautiful, they're pristine. Those were done by the archangels. They created their own hallways in Persia. So you want to go and research this stuff. I highly recommend that in order to achieve your own greatness, you need to learn. You need to open your eyes. You have to be engaged. You need to do your own research. And you also are responsible for developing the personality of your own star. Once you do that, then your stargate will open. When Valiant Thor, Commander Valiant Thor, or the Druze speak about the star education, perfection, focusing on your golden star, focusing on your Druze star of the personality. I said you create a third star, which is a crystal star. That is your plasma star, physical Merkaba that you're creating. That is, it's a wonder. It's magical. It's this powerful being. Once you understand who you are, now you understand why the galactics call you royalty, that you were able to create a star, a plasma star from this biological unit. As you start to move more into this knowledge of light, frequency, harmony, this higher energy, you're going to create a better, brighter star. And that's when we're going to start to convert from your charcoal being into now this plasma light being. And your diet is going to change. Pay attention to your food. You don't want to be eating poisons. You don't want to be eating dyes and synthetic foods. You're probably going to have to cook at home more. Pay attention to your ingredients. Stay away from the toxic. I wanted to call it puke. Is that okay? Um,
Yeah.
Even people around you, be very careful because there are a lot of people that want to control you and hold you down. They don't want you to succeed because it makes them look bad. So you have a lot of earthlings that are like trying to grab onto the star seeds to hold us down. And we just need to cut those chains so that we can move into our new reality. What's really interesting is that when we began this whole crap show of ascension, enlightenment, now you know what it means, ascending, now you know what it really means. Once we started moving through these timelines, when we first started, the Statue of Liberty, which is Lucifer, was unchained. And there was pictures of Lucifer unchained. Well, now, if we've changed so many timelines and we're really evolving into this higher consciousness timeline because of the star seeds, because of the light workers, because of the military and the galactics and everybody that's working together, it's a collaboration. Now, Lucifer, he's chained. He's chained back up. If you look at the Statue of Liberty, as we're moving through these different timelines, if you look at the signs, they'll tell you where we are as far as our progress, where we need to continue going, if there's things that we need to do. Since we're all individual stars, we all need to look at our own progress, go within our I am, go back and learn the golden star. Have you perfected your balance within that golden star? Look at the Drew's personality star. Have you developed this well-rounded, balanced personality? If not, you might be out of whack somewhere and it's affecting your plasma star, your Merkaba. So you want to fix that. As you merge all together and you have now a better diet, you have higher vibrational friends, you've changed your career, you're no longer under the thumb of some deep state dictator. You've now maybe opened up to working more with humanity or doing the things that you love, making money, doing things more in a higher vibration. You now are going to see your reality change. And as you get happier, as there's more joy, as the heaviness begins to evade your physical space, now you're going to blossom and bloom into what you were meant to be and what you used to be, which is a star. You are a hue, which means you have a vibration and you have a plasma light. You now know how to move this plasma. It's in your cells. So what is a virus? A virus is a toxicity, a toxic, a poison that poisons your interstitial fluid of the cells. It's your plasma light. Your DNA is your architectural blueprint that was created by Archangel Michael that tells you how you're supposed to replicate. And this is what the deep state or the Enlil inky dudes created with Mark Anthony way back when, is they've been invading our DNA and destroying the replication, which is your RNA. Now they made it the mRNA, the M for their Prince of Darkness. The Bible was written by Satan. And like I told you, there is black spells in there. It was twisted to read as something, but underneath it's much darker. And Trump, who is King Arthur, John F. Kennedy, that bloodline is the bloodline from Caesar and Cleopatra. It's going to go way back. They John F. Kennedy would not put his hand on the Bible because the Bible was written by Satan to imprison you and to thwart your growth of becoming an enlightened star to go back to Atlantis. So the Bible isn't what you thought it was. Religion is not what you thought it was. The figureheads that proclaimed to be so wonderful actually were demons, and they were just sent back to their star through their stargate, which was hidden in the Vatican. That's why they couldn't destroy the Vatican until all the demons went back through those doors, that gate. That's what that ceremony was. And if you look at those videos and those pictures closely, you'll see that they're demons. Satan's demons all went home. They're all getting out of here because they don't belong on this timeline. This is the Atlantean or the Tartarian star timeline, and we're taking it home. We own it. We're gonna make these changes. Any questions?
Would you say that, when you talk about religion and how it's all been basically a lie, it teaches that to look outside of ourselves. And what I think you were saying earlier, Christ, Yeshua went around the world learning all these different, learning from all these different cultures. And the message is that you don't have to look outside of yourself. You go within to find the truth of who you really are. Would you say that's true?
That's the only way to be. There's only two beings, right? There's two types of people. There's the one that's outside of himself. That's the 3D earthlings that are still trying to find out who and what they are, versus the Atlanteans. We know who we are, and and we need to remember, and it's inside of us. So when Trump talks about, and I'm not talking about Michael Rothschild, that's the Antichrist that is planned for the other timeline for the Earthlings. I'm talking about King Arthur that has Excalibur, that was given the right to rule this planetary system and bring us home, right? His diamonds. Um, they are teaching that the water has memory. Watch the water. Our body is 80% water. And when we go within, we infuse those memories into our essence, into our consciousness. That's how we take the knowledge of who we were and bring it into the now through the subconscious mind, making it conscious. It's through the water. That's why it's really important that 80% of your body is water, that you drink purified water. You're getting salt, the right salt, and there are over 10,000 types that I know of, and a little bit of each is going to give you consciousness. So you want to sample around, but also it's what is necessary for a star to become energetic, right? If you're looking at electricity, which we're a star plasma being, we need electricity. So we need water, we need to have the salt, and we need to have the energy, which is created from the heart, and it's generating these wheels, which is our chakra system, that then is turning this plasma from a dim light into a bright, enlightened light, which makes us a star.
Hence the term charging the batteries, right?
Yep, there you go. That's it. So, is there another question?
Not at this time. No, I think, this is really unbelievable because, we've always had the truth within ourselves. We just needed to know how to find it. And thank you for giving us that doorway to walk through so we can see, where to find the truth.
So I do want to caution people, if you're going to Western medicine, you're going to destroy your star. The whole operation that they've been taught, and you could tell by their logo that they are Mark Anthony's seeds, and they are trying to destroy your star essence, your diamond. So you want to be very careful. All hospitals were owned by Jews. Jews are the Khazarians, which are the Canaanites, which come from Mark Anthony's bloodline. Okay. A snake is a snake is a snake, will always be a snake. And they're there to destroy your star. The insurance companies are all owned by these Jews, Khazarian Jews, that are cannibalistic, that go back to the vampire race, which is contributed to from the the fallen angels. The fallen angels stargate is at Hoover Dam. They were living in the Grand Canyon. Their coven headquarters is in Sedona. Michael Rothschild, who was also supposed to be Trump, he was controlling Tucson. The center of the earth was outside of Tucson, and the Rothschild, or the Rothschild family owns that area, which was controlled by Satan, the Satan bloodline. This all goes together. All of the past senators, mayors, governors were all protecting the fallen angels and the vampire race. So if you go to Queen Elizabeth and her family bloodline, They were vampires, and Dracula was their uncle, told by Prince, who's now king. You
Charles,
want to, huh?
Prince Charles.
Charles. Yeah, King Charles. And it was on YouTube. You might be able to find it, where he admits Dracula was his uncle, meaning that he is directly a descendant from the fallen angels. It's all connecting now. Um, the insurance companies and the whole medical system was set up to usher in an easy way, paid with an insurance card, go into your doctor, and then they begin to harvest you. Your blood was being sold on the dark web, and it was also being sold outside of this planetary system because other beings liked drinking the blood of a star. It had magical properties. It had anti-aging. It had superpowers. So that's why they would pay, it was said, up to $80,000 for a vial of this blood or stem cells. Jupiter Rising is not a movie, it's a documentary. Go watch it. The government, the law enforcement, the Pentagon, the military, everybody was set up to steal the blood or the essence of these stars, because you're the next best thing to actually stealing essence from God itself. So you guys need to understand who you are and who's attacking you and why. It's all for the vampire race. And there are many of them. There was something like 233 that were actually cast out from heaven for having ill thoughts, bad thoughts. And um there were like handlers that were created from Satan, that he had special handlers, which is probably the 13 families. And then underneath them, they controlled other fallen angels. And it's funny because Hollywood is about the Garden in Eden, and it's also about the stars, right? So they took our essence being a star, and these vampires are drinking our blood in Hollywood. Hollywood is where Eden was. It all connects. When you start thinking about this and doing research, you'll see it. So the center of the planet is outside of Tucson, and the Rothschilds own it, and they were trying to get contracts for people's lives there. There's documents on that too on YouTube. John McCain was controlling Arizona, and now you know why. Israel is for last, and I believe that's going to be Arizona where all this truth comes out. The human star biology is the energy of a star, our plasma. Our heart is what generates this energy for our plasma to move within our Merkaba. People have no idea that this is what doctors are attacking. They have no idea. Your spinal fluid is so important. So what do? They want to attack your spine. They're trying to pop you with chiropractic care, which is unnatural. If your back is locked up, that means you're very acidic, and your body is pulling the calcium out of your bones to alkaline you. You're supposed to be an alkaline body between a 6.5 and a 7.4. If you're getting a disease That's because you've dropped your alkaline level. And if you get below 5.0 is when you start decaying and dying. That's why you get a cancer diagnosis, because now your body is dying from the acids. So what do? You take pharmaceutical pills that have more acid that is shutting down more of your body. And then your doctor is going to want to organ harvest you by doing a surgery, and your organs then are sold on the dark web. And this is very dark. You guys are going to just flip out when you start to put these pieces together.
Would you say, I have a question. You said the chiropractors, would you say that if someone's really out of balance and very, I guess you can say acidic or toxic, that is there any good time to go to a chiropractor and have them actually readjust and realign you, or is it just safe just to stay away from that?
Why would you go to a chiropractor and have them inorganically pop and snap you when you can rewrite the aura to move your back into alignment naturally? Because I do this, right? I have a biofrequency device that's a medical grade device that has been used for thousands of years, but it was hidden. The stars were not allowed to use this. You had to go use the poison medicine to destroy your star because they were harvesting you. But in the underground bases is where the Skio biofrequency device is, and it's from the Arcturians, which is another galactic friend of ours that's actually um, primary in liberating us, because you can't hack their intuition. But they are the ones that have developed this medical grade device that the galaxies use. Nobody uses Western medicine because it's a killing machine. It has nothing to do with health and well-being. And especially, it has nothing to do with the health of a star. There are only about 35 people that really understand the health and rejuvenation of a star being. Literally. There are movies about this, you guys. They've been dropping clues. But the only way to really heal a star being is through light, frequency, nutrition, your environment, your surroundings, the people that you're around. If you're around a lot of narcissistic, bipolar, manipulative people, those are earthlings, and they're controlling the stars. You need to get rid of them. You you can't have them around because they're always looking for angles to entrap you or enslave you, control you, because of your light and your essence. Now you understand why. But when you're set free and you understand who you are and you start protecting it, your abilities are going to shine. You're going to start having superpowers. So let me tell you what a couple of those are. One is levitation. And there is Anastasia, who is in Russia, who's been teaching the Russian people how to live more in alignment with being a star being. And you can get the books on eBay. It's the series of Anastasia, and she talks about programming food with your DNA and your essence, and how to plant your own food so that it's grown specific for your body. She also talks about levitation. You can levitate when your chakra system is working properly. You can raise your vibration to levitate. You won't need a car. The next thing is being able to absorb more of the ether consciousness, which is going to turn you into a master very quickly. The knowledge level that you're going to be able to absorb is going to be unstoppable. It's going to be ginormous, and it's going to be quick. You're going to see it. You're going to be given more divine guidance, divine protection. You're going to have eternal life because now you understand you're a crystal. You don't die.
Yeah, and they talk about the Palladians or other beings from different planets, so say the galactic beings living thousands of years. It's because we're, some of us are Palladians, right? We're from the stars.
Right, exactly. Some of the other gifts that you guys have is clairaudient. You can clair all the clairs, which is you can smell your loved ones when they're around you. You might not be able to see them, but they have a distinct smell. You can hear them. You can see interdimensionally, which is clairvoyant. You can remote view and many more. There are a whole series of powers that you guys are going to get that you just were not even aware of or thought you could have that ability, but it's coming in. So this is why they say you're truly a miracle. You're absolutely astounding. You're the best example of something of Archangel Michael's creation. It's just I'm a loss for words at how amazing that we truly are. And once we start understanding that and living our lives accordingly, everything is going to change. If you start protecting yourselves, stop being taken advantage of, stop being a doormat, stop being there for everybody else's prosper. When you start looking at yourself as an individual jewel, a diamond produced by Archangel Michael, your life is going to change. So with that, I want to say goodbye, and I will be back with another section to this video very soon. Thank you for listening, and I'll be in touch. Stay well, stay healthy, and stay prosperous.
Thanks, Mugzzi. That was awesome. We'll see you. Bye for now. Thanks for joining us.
We're shifting to 5D, a world anew.
The Quantum Shift Show.